We're going to learn how to turn this modern video of a steam train at a train station into something that looks like an old-fashioned silent movie using some effects in Shotcut. So follow closely to the tutorial that follows. When you open Shotcut, the first thing you need to do is to make sure you know where your video is being saved. You might just like to save it in your videos folder. Don't save it to your online OneDrive drive, because when you're saving videos to an online space, sometimes it is a little bit difficult. So just save it to a desktop folder, select folder, give it a name. I'm going to call mine Steam Train Demo. You can call it whatever you like, and hit start. Okay, so the first thing we need to make sure is that this panel called Playlist is open, and that's where we're going to add in our resources. So the easiest way to do that is through File Explorer and just drag them into this panel here. We're going to take the video of the train arriving at the station or leaving the station and drag that down into the timeline. Okay, so we're going to be learning about how to apply different filters or effects. So Shotcut refers to different effects, video and audio effects, as filters. So with this video track selected, hit Filter and then Add, and go to this video tab here and start to type in the word size, and that will select this filter or effect called Size, Position and Rotate. Select that, and we're going to zoom this picture in and then just grab this handle here and move it to the point where we can't see any people on the side. Okay, so what we want to do is try to get 1 minute's worth of this video without any people appearing on the side there, because those people look a little bit modern, and we're trying to create a representation where this train looks like it's from an old silent movie. So what we need to do is now apply what's called keyframes. And this is about as tricky as video editing gets, but if you just follow the instructions, you'll get the hang of it very quickly. So with that video track selected, with this filter selected, we're going to now hit this icon here, and that activates what's called keyframes. So click on that, and it opens up this different panel down here. You should be able to alternate between now your timeline and keyframes. So this diamond down here that has been put into the timeline, it's called a keyframe, and that tells Shotcut that at that point in the timeline, that's exactly where this video has been positioned. So what we need to do is to go ahead every 5 or so seconds and position the train over in this sort of corner here so that we don't have any people appearing and that the train kind of remains the focus of the video. So just go forwards every 5 or so seconds, and what you need to do is just reposition the video, and you can see on this timeline down here is creating a keyframe every time you do that. And then what the video will do, or what Shotcut will do, you can even add in more like that one, it will just animate between the keyframes. Okay, so it's quite a shaky video. First, let me record this with a very shaky hand, so you can just add in as many as you like to try to make that as stable an image as possible. And this is really good practice for applying keyframes. Okay, so I'm going to go forwards every 5 seconds and just apply a new keyframe. Alright, very good. Make sure you save your work continuously, so hit Control S or just click the save button up there. Go back to the timeline. So we've got our minute's worth of fairly stable, or at least cutting those people out from the side there. So we don't need any more of that video track, so hitting S will split the track where that player head is, select that little bit on the end and press delete. Let's also right click and where it says more, detach the audio, select the audio and press delete as well. Saving that again. So now what we'll do, select that video and let's start to make it look old-fashioned by applying quite a few more different filters. So the first thing we're going to do is to take away the color. So I'm going to click add and I'm going to search for a filter called saturation. So click on that one and that one works by it either saturates the color or it removes the color completely. So let's remove the color completely. Now we've got a black and white image, but we're going to make it look like an old grainy style of film that's jumping around in the projector a little bit. And Shotcut has got a whole range of different filters that will allow us to do that. So we're going to go add, and we're going to then type in one called vignette. VI will pop up this one called vignette, and that is something that looks a little bit old-fashioned, so you can fiddle around with this one to get these dark corners as much as you like. And then I'm going to keep adding. Make sure you keep saving. Every time you do something significant, press save. I'm going to type in the word old, and this will come up with this list of old film grain, dust, projector, scratches, and we'll add all these because that will help to make the video look really old. So old film dust and scratches. Okay, and when all these are used together, it really dirties up the image and makes it look very old-fashioned. Okay. So we have created a representation here, making a modern video look very old. Okay, so there's also, that's pretty good if you can do that much, guys. But there's a few other things that we can learn about Shotcut while we're here, and that's things like adding in titles. So I want you to move that video ahead on the timeline a little bit, give yourself some space down here, go back to what's called the playlist, and you should have in your resources this image that looks like it's a old-fashioned silent movie title card, and we're going to put a title in the front there. So it looks like it doesn't quite go for 5 seconds, so you might just like to grab the end of that one and then just move it over till it's about 5 seconds long. So we're going to make sure that that is selected, and we're going to go to filters and add, and we're going to search for one called, if I just type in the word text rich. Select that. Make sure you keep saving all the time. And if I just click in this area here and start typing, and you can come up with whatever title that you want. So I'm just typing in the steam train. And just grabbing that handle there in the middle, and do your best to put it somewhere in the middle there. Okay, so I'm going to select all the text and then find a font that looks a little bit old-fashioned as well. You can open up this panel to make it a little bit easier to see the example text in here. The other thing we can do is to add some old-fashioned style music. So remember, if you don't have the audio track down there, all you can do is you can right-click in this space here and get to track operations and add an audio track, or here's the menu system here where you can do the same thing and add an audio track. So go back to our playlist. We've got some old-fashioned piano-style music here. Add that in there. Now this one, the music doesn't start until some way into it, so get the player head there, make sure that track is selected, hit S, and just delete that first little bit where there's no music playing. Move it forwards, keep pressing save. Okay, Now what we were going to do was to try to apply the effects from this video onto this image here. So I'm going to go to filters. I'm going to say here is a little copy icon, so copy filters. Go to your card there and paste filters. Now there's a few that we don't want. We don't want this one, so we can just click on that one and hit the minus button. There's no point doing the saturation because it's already a black and white image, so I'll delete that one too. And all the rest should be fine. Okay, so that text looks like it's a little bit far down. That's just a little glitch there in Shotcut that won't appear in your final video. Saving it again. And there we are. That's a very simple representation. The other thing we can do in Shotcut is add in easy little fade-ins. So you see as I hover in the corner here, a little black dot appears and that can fade in the video or fade in the audio. Let's also trim that music. So we'll get the playhead there at the end. Make sure the music track is selected. Hit S. And then delete. And I'm just hovering there in the corner until that black dot appears. And that fades out the video and fades out the music. So the last thing we need to do is to export that. So export. Just save everything or leave everything as the default settings and press export file. Make sure you know what it's being saved to so you can find it later on. Save, and over in this corner you'll see it's progressing. It won't take too long to save, and then you can see your final result.